Okay, good morning, all of you. Now, good morning, all of you. Now I'm going to start. Okay, I'm going to start your lecture of mechatronics. Okay, and in which we are talking about the pneumatic system. In which we are talking about the pneumatic system. I already gone through some of the portions of the pneumatic system. Some of the portions of the pneumatic system. What pneumatic system is actually and how it works. So those things we have to go through properly, right? Okay, so what I'm willing to tell, pneumatic means what? The pneumatic technology deals with the study and the behavior of study of the behavior and their behavior and application of the compressed air in our daily life. Let us suppose I have given you the lot of examples like the automations in manufacturing industry, right? Nowadays, automations in the manufacturing industries is greatly activated, greatly adopted in our daily life. Okay, so whatever the things you have seen in the manufacturing phenomenon and manufacturing unit, let us suppose we are having the different machines. They are running in and they are running by the help of the pneumatic system. Means they are running by the compressed air. They are running by the pressure of the compressed air, right? So I already told you what are the important components of the pneumatic system so far. I have gone through that is the air filter, compressors, then air cooler, and what are their specific role. I already discussed. I already discussed in the previous class. So I must tell you what is the function of dryer, then control valves, then air actuators, and then electric motor and the receiver tanks. I already discuss those things. I'm talking about the control valves. If I will tell you the control valves, so you just keep in the mind how many types of the control valves so far we are using. So I already told you pressure control valve. I already told you these are the pressure control valve. Then direction control valve. Then flow control valve. So these are the types of the control system. So all are the control system. So as per their applications, as per their use, we have classified them accordingly. We have classified them accordingly, like the direction control valve, flow control valves, and the direction control valve, flow control valve, and the pressure control valve. I already explained earlier in the previous classes that the pressure control valves control the liquid pressure, or in case of the pneumatics, it controls the air pressure, right? And in flow control valves, it controls the air flow rate, compressed air flow rate, and direction control valves. You are familiar. It can control the direction of the flow of the air, direction of control of the air. So these are the things so far we have studied. So just keep in the mind, if you are talking about the control valve, so just keep in the mind that may be talking about the pressure control valve, that may be talking about the flow control valve, that may be talking about the direction control valve, right? So then I told you electric motors, then receiver tanks. Electric motor is very important because this transforms the electric energy into the mechanical energy. Okay, so without the use of the electric motor, how can we operate the compressor? We can't operate the compressor. We can't operate the compressor, right? And the role of the receiver tank, it is very crucial role, because the compressed air coming from all those stages, all those stages after getting compressed by the compressor goes and they stored into the air receiver. And during the fluctuation of the air pressure, they may supply those air, so that the mean will be attained very easily. And the fluctuation may be replaced. Fluctuation may be easily replaced. Okay, and I already discussed about this basic component of the pneumatic system. You must see what are the basic component that I already told you. This is the intake filter from where the air which is available in plenty in our atmosphere, that is available in the free of cost. So from the atmosphere we will take the unlimited amount of the air to the compressor. Compressor will do what? Compressor will compress the intake airs, and after compressing the airs, of course, during the compression of the airs, so the air temperature will be getting rise, and the air pressure will be the high. So after getting a temperature, after the compression of the air, the temperature of the air will be increased, and that if we will not replace those increased air, that may be hampered our that may be burst, that may be causes accident, and that may hamper our objective. So we will pass on to the cooler, and the cooler will replace all the heat generated during the compression stroke, then pass on those to the separator, and separator to the receiver. Okay, and receiver, receiver is having the sensors. They are having the pressure switches. Okay, so this is associated with the motor control center, and they will pass on the excess. They will pass on the excess amount to the compressor, return it back, and that receiver is associated with the secondary air treatment plants, and that is then they are connected to the control valves, and from the control valves it pass on to the actuators, and actuators will give the output for that particular system, but output for that particular system, right? So I already have discussed so far. About the pneumatic system and their block diagram. If in your university examination, if question paper is asking about the pneumatic system, you must keep the component of the pneumatic system in diagrammatical form and explain it accordingly. If it is asking the big numbers like the 12.5 and the 8 marks, right? Because without writing this, no one can be evaluated well, right? So come to the next, the same things you will see in this diagram. This is a thorough diagram of the previous stages. You will see this is the filter, and this is the inlet. This is the inlet from where air is sucked from the atmosphere, right? And these are the silencer. So the air inlet to the compressed is likely to be filtered. The air inlet to the compressor is likely to be filtered, and via silencer it will reduce the noise level. So what is the role of filter? Filter क्या करता है? Filter all the contaminants को, they will filter all the contaminants and only air the pure form of the air. Okay, and pass on to the silencer, so that it will reduce the noise level during the suction stroke of the air from the atmosphere, and pass on this to the compressor. And how compressor is working? Without the help of motor, compressor is nothing. So in pneumatic power system, an electric motor drive an air compressor. Without the use of this motor, we cannot run. Without the use of this motor, we cannot run the compressor, and the compressor will not work. So who is prime mover for them? So the prime mover is the motor. So without motor, the compressor cannot work. So okay, so we are talking about this compressor. See this diagram. We are talking about this compressor. What is the role of compressor? Compressor will compress the intake air. And during the compression stroke, if the air is getting compressed, so the temperature of the air becomes higher. कंप्रेसर में क्या करते हैं, एयर को जब कंप्रेस करते हैं, सो टेम्परेचर ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर कंप्रेसर के अंदर जो एयर होता है उसकी टेम्परेचर क्या होती है, बढ़ जाती है. So what is then next to that, after compressor it pass on through the pressure relief valve. And what is the function of pressure relief valve? You just keep in the mind, a pressure relief valve provides the protection against the pressure in the system which is rising from the safety level. So the role of pressure relief valve is to relieve the excess pressure so that the system will work safely without getting failure by any, and without any occurrence of the accident. So just keep in the mind, pressure relief valve is very important from our aspect. Why it is very important from our aspect? Because without the use of pressure relief valves, we cannot come to know what are the required pressure and what pressure we are getting at our receiver in. So if the pressure become higher, that the accident may cause, and that accident may hamper the manpower and the other things of industries, right? So just keep in the mind, the role of pressure relief valve is very important for the safety purpose. So the pressure relief valve provides us the protection against the pressure in the system which will rise above the safe limit. So once we are getting the rise of the pressure of the above safe limit, so pressure relief valve will relieve the pressure and make it maintain at the safe level, right? Then it pass on to the coolers. And what is the function of the cooler? And what is the function of the filter and the water trap? What is the function of the filter and the water trap, right? So since the compressor increases the temperature of the air, so this is likely to be the cooling system, and they will cool that temperature rise. Right? So just keep in the mind, what is the function of cooler and why we are using? Since compressor increases the temperature of the air, and they are likely to be the cooling system. And to remove the contaminations and the water from the air, a filter with the water trap is used. During the cooling of that hot air, hot air or the compressed air that may intake some moistures, that may intake some water droplets from the cooler stage and pass on to the filter and the water trap. And what they will do, they will filter the water and trap the water there and pass on the pure form of the air to the air receiver, right? To the air receiver, right? So if you see what is the role of air receiver, just if you keep in the mind. So after filtering and water is tapped to this unit, pass on those to the air receiver. And what is the function of air receiver? An air receiver receive the increased volume of the air in the system. Okay, and smooths out any short-term pressure fluctuation. It will overcome the fluctuation caused during the supply, so that the quality aspect can be easily enhanced. It can be easily monitored. It can be easily governed. Okay, let us suppose we are having the air pressure which is less than required. In that condition, so air receiver tank will pass on the pressures and they will maintain the average value what we require. Okay, and let us suppose we are having the excess quantity of the air that is not desirable for our purpose. So what we will do? The excess quantity of the air must be kept or must be stored in the air receiver. So move on. These are the advantages associated with the pneumatic system. This is what? Availability. Air is available everywhere in unlimited quantity, free of cost. You are getting what I'm telling? Availability of the air is in abundance. Air is available everywhere and in unlimited quantity. They are not having any cost. This is available in plenty, free of cost. Then we are talking about the transport. Air can be easily transported in the pipeline, even over the large distances. Large distances. If you are talking about the house cooking gas, what we are using, house cooking gas for our cooking purpose. So that can be transferred from the one city to another city. And you will be surprised to see from the Gujarat to Varanasi, it has been spread through the pipeline. So that is the same. Air can be easily transported in the pipeline even over the large distances, right? Then storage. Come to the storage. Compressed air can be stored in the reservoir or the tank and removed as required. Let us suppose we are having the power limitations. We cannot run the motor anytime. Let us suppose we are staying in the very remote area where the power is only spending is only 2 or 3 hours in a day. So what we will do in 2 to 3 hours, we will generate the air, compress the air, and put it into the reserve condition so that any emergency can be handled. Let us suppose if we are talking about the person who is staying over there, who is doing puncture work, who is doing the check for the air in a tire of the vehicle. So what they are doing? When they will open the soap in the morning, they will store the storage tank so that if the power will not be there, they can manage it accordingly and they can handle it properly without any obstructions, right? So now we are talking about the temperature. This may be the one of the advantage of the pneumatic system. What it may be? So the temperature of the compressed air is relatively insensitive to the temperature fluctuation. Okay, compressed air is relatively insensitive to the temperature fluctuation. So there will be no any temperature fluctuation so far. Then we are talking about the cleanness. Unlubricated exhausted air is clean. Without the use of lubrication, it is very clean. If you are comparing with the hydraulic system, so of course the pneumatic system is neat and clean source of the power transmission, right? Then the running cost is relatively inexpensive if you are comparing it from the hydraulic supply, controlling it from the hydraulic energy, right? Then we are talking about the speed. Compressed air is very fast working medium. Compressed air is a very fast working medium, and this enables high working speed to be attained. Okay, this enables us to attain the high speed. Then overload safe means pneumatic tool and the operating component can be loaded to the point of stopping and therefore overload safe. Overload safe means what? Pneumatic tools and the operating component can be loaded to the point of stopping and are therefore overload safe. So it can be overcome. The overload safety is desirable and overload safety may be attained very easily. So I must discuss you. I must tell you. Okay, then disadvantages associated with the pneumatic system, just you keep in the mind. Those are the advantages we studied so far, and now we are talking about the disadvantage of the pneumatic system. See, one is the preparation. Compressed air requires the good preparation. Why? Dirt and the condensate should be removed. Whatever the contaminants that is available in the air or in the atmosphere, they must be removed. Means the compressed air should be free from any impurity in the surrounding. Any impurity in the surrounding. Then speed. Speed is one of the disadvantage. How it is so? As the air is compressible, you know, air is compressible enough, so it is difficult to achieve the uniform and the constant piston speed. It is very difficult to attain the uniform and the constant piston speed. While we are talking about hydraulic system, as per accuracy concerned, so hydraulic is highly accurate than any of the kind of the pneumatic, right? So then force requirement. Compressed air is economical only up to a certain level, only up to a certain force. You are getting what I'm telling? Compressed air is very economical only up to a certain force requirement. So under the normal working pressure of 600 to 700 kPa, kilopascal. Okay. So that is proportional to 6 to 7 bar. It is only, it can only economically work when we are requiring, when we are doing the pressure up to 6 to 7 bar. Or you can say 600 to 700 kPa. Then as per concern the noise level, the exhaust air is very louder. The exhaust air is very louder or the noisy, you can say. So this problem has now, however, been largely solved due to the development of sound absorption. What? Due to the due to the due to the absorption of due to the development of the sound absorption material in the silencer. I already shown you in the previous slide so far in the pneumatic component or how it works. The block diagram of the pneumatics has been shown. What I said, when air is sucked by you know, when the air is sucked from the atmosphere, they are having the filter. They will remove all the contaminants, then pass on it to the silencer. And what is the role of silencer? They can reduce the noise level that may be caused during the intake of the air. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the air treatment and the pressure regulation valve. How, you know, there are several stages of the air treatment. There are the several stages of the air treatment. Already I have shown this diagram, stages of the air treatment. You must be see in this diagram. See this, when the air is getting into the inlet filter. Inlet filter means when air is getting sucked from the atmosphere. Okay, when the air is taken from the atmosphere. So air is entered into the inlet filter. And what is the role of inlet filter? What is the role of inlet filter? So the role of inlet filter is what? Role of inlet filter is to remove all the contaminants, all the impurities that is present when we are taking the air directly from the atmosphere. Then pass on the original air to the compressor. And you know, air is having the moisture, air is having the droplets, the small droplets of the water, and all those. Then after compressing the air, the temperature of the air becomes higher. So in order to compensate or in order to control those increased amount of the compressed air, so it pass on to the cooler. And what is the role of cooler? I already told you in the previous slide. So cooler will cool the compressed air, and they will compensate the temperature cost. Then pass on these to the mainline filter. Pass on those to the mainline filter, and then it's sent to the dryer. So that all the water droplets, moistures must be removed from them, right? And then then the air which is available without any impurities, without dust and dirt, without moisture, so the water content pass on to the receiver tank. Okay, and after from receiver tank it pass on to the air service unit. Okay, and air service unit allowed to pass on this air to the atmosphere. That is what we call it the vent. Okay, so these are the primary treatment unit. These are the before receiver it is a primary treatment, and after the receiver time the treatment is what, the secondary air treatment. The secondary air treatment. Got it? Now I think all have gone through this. So you just keep in the mind air treatment stages. We are going to see the air treatment stages. So one by one we are going to explain. I'm going to explain those. So see this block diagram. It has been represented a lot, and the presentation, if the same will be asked in the examination, and it has been asked number of times in your university examination. So you must write it this way. So first of all, you must write a block diagram for the stages of the air treatment, right? So if you are looking for the same, you must see how do we treat the air, how do we treat the air. So you know, for satisfactory operation of the pneumatic system, the compressed air needs to be the cleaned and the dried. Atmospheric air, is contaminated. Let us suppose if you are talking about the condition in Delhi, and after Dussehra, the condition of Delhi will be, highly miserable. Why it is so? Air is highly contaminated. Their air quality index or air pollution index is very high. So atmospheric air is contaminated with, dust, dirt, smoke, and its humidity. So these particles can cause the wear of the system component, and presence of the moisture may cause the corrosion. And corrosion, this is the slow degradation process of the component. So it can reduce the life cycle of any component. Hence, it is very essential to treat the air to get rid of these impurities. So the air treatment can be divided into the 3 stages so far. Okay, 3 stages so far. So I already told you these are the primary air treatment. Before the receiver tank, this is a primary air treatment, and after the receiver tank pass on to the actuator, this is the secondary air treatment. Right? So come to the next. If you are talking about in the first stage, I already told you the large size particles are prevented. Large size particles are prevented. Okay, large size particles are prevented from entering to the compressor by intake filter. So the role of intake filter you are familiar earlier. So the air leaving the compressors may be humid and may be at high temperature. So the air from compressor is treated to the second stage. And in second stage, I already told you, in this stage, the temperature of the compressed air is allowed upon a cooler. And the air is dried by using dryer. I already said air is getting dried free from humidity by the use of the dryer. Also, an inline filter is provided to remove any contaminants. Right. So, also an inline filter is provided to remove any contaminant particles which is present in the air. So this treatment is called the primary air treatment. Okay. In the third stage, if you will see, which is the secondary air treatment process. Further filtering is carried out. A lubrication is introduced. A fine mist of the oil into the compressed air. So all will help in lubrication of the moving component of the system. Okay, with the compressed air will be applied. What applied? Compressed air will be applied. Compressed air will be applied. So see, what is the secondly we are talking about the main line filter. What is main line filter? What is main line filter? So these filters are used to remove the water vapor, or you can just see the solid contaminants which is present in the pneumatic system, main lines. So these filters are discussed in details. Okay, these filters are discussed in details as following. Okay, So then we are talking about the lubricators. What are the role of lubricators and what is lubricators? So the compressed air is first filtered, then pass on through the lubricators in order to a mist of the oil and air to provide the lubrication to the melting coupling. Right. So in previous diagram, the schematic diagram. Okay. In the previous diagram, you have seen. In coming diagram, you will see. In coming diagram, you will see the schematic diagram of the typical lubricator. So, what are the principle on which the lubricator will work? So, the principle of working of the lubricator is the same working of Venturi meter. So, the people who is working on Venturi meter, which is followed in the operations of lubricator. So, the compressed air from dry air into the lubricator. Right? So the principle of working of the Venturi meter is followed in the operation of the lubricator. The same principle they are following. So the compressed air from the dry air enter into the lubricator, and its velocity increases due to the pressure difference between the upper and the lower chamber of the oil reservoir. So due to the low pressure in the upper chamber, and okay, so what we are talking about? The compressed air from the dry air enter into the lubricator. Its velocity increase and क्यों increase होता है? Due to the pressure differential between the upper and the lower chamber. Okay, upper and the lower chamber. Right? Chamber is what the oil reservoir. Due to the low pressure in the upper chamber, and the oil is pushed into the upper chamber from the oil reservoir through a chiffon tube with check valve. Right? So, due to the low pressure in the upper chamber, the oil is pushed into the upper chamber from the oil reservoir through a chiffon tube with the check valve. Chiffon tube with the check valve. Okay. So then you will see. This is the diagram. This is the diagram for the air lubricator. These are the oil reservoir. This is what the oil reservoir. Okay, and these are the tubes, chiffon tube. What we are talking about. These are the chiffon tube. This is the valve. This is what the inlet valve. This is what the inlet valve. And this is all what the outlet valve. And here at the outlet valve, the one component is there. This is what check valve. Right. So the main function of the valve is to control the amount of oil which is passing through it. So the oil drop inside the throttle valve, oil. See, this is the oil mist. This is what the oil mist, and the air flows from here. Air flow from here. Okay. So what I'm telling to you, what I'm trying to tell, so that the oil drops inside the throttle zone where the velocity of the air is much higher, and this high velocity air breaks the oil drops into tiny particles. Breaks the oil drop into the tiny particles. Thus, the mist of air, this one is the mist of air. Thus, a mist of air and the oil is generated. So, the pressure differential across the chamber is adjusted by a needle valve. How do you control the pressure? So, the pressure differential across the chamber is adjusted by needle valve. They may have a valve by which we can control the pressure of the air. So it is difficult to hold an oil mixed air in the air receiver, as the oil may settle down. So the oil may be settled down over here. Oil may be settled down. So thus the air is lubricated during thus air is lubricated during secondary air treatment process. So the air is lubricated where? The question may be asked to you whether the lubrication is when lubrication is done, whether it is in primary air treatment process or secondary air treatment. You just keep them. You just remember them. So air is lubricated during the secondary air treatment process. So the low viscosity of the oil forms the better mist. Low viscosity. Let us suppose if the oil is less viscous, okay, viscous oil from the better mist than a higher viscosity oil, and hence ensure the oil is always present in the air. That's ensure the air is always present in the air. Oil is always present into the air. So see this is the out valve. So this is what we check valve. This is a check valve which is mounted on the siphon tube. Mounted on the siphon tube. Okay, so this is the inlet valve. This is the control valve by which we are dropping the water. Water will form the mist, and there will flow and settle down to the bottom. Then we are talking about the pressure regulation. See this diagram. This is the type of pressure regulation. This diagram representing the types of pressure regulation. Okay, so in pneumatic system, during the high velocity compressed air, in pneumatic system during the high velocity compressed air flow, there is a flow dependent. You know what we are talking about? Types of pressure regulation. So in pneumatic system during the high velocity compressed air flow, there is a flow dependent pressure drop, which is governed by the flow dependent pressure drop. और किसके बीच होता है? Between the receiver and the load. Between the receiver. What are the receiver? This is the receiver and this is the load. This is the receiver and this is the load. So this may be the between the receiver and the load. So therefore the pressure in the receiver is always kept higher. Receiver का pressure क्या होता है? The pressure of the receiver is always kept higher than the system pressure. अगर हायर नहीं रखेंगे तो फ्लो नहीं हो पाएगा. So at the application side, the pressure is regulated to keep it constant. So there are the three ways to control the local pressure, and these are shown in this diagram. You must see. This is what you will see. They will receive the air. They are the air receiving unit. Pass on through the vents. Okay. Pass on through the vents, and then it pass on to the load. And they also pass on to the load. Okay. And this is what the controller, and this is the pressure transducer. So this is all about the different loading condition of a pressure regulation system. And this is they are having the vents. So the pressure can be regulated by this handle. The pressure can be regulated with this handle. So the load may be the X load, Y load, and the Z load. And this may be the air regulation 1, air regulation 2. Okay, and this is what the control valve is. Control valve pass on to the connected to the controller, and then pass on it to the pressure transducer. And pressure transducer is associated with the load. Okay, so this is associated with the load X, load Y, and load Z. So I need not to repeat what is the function of pressure control valve. Then at fifth, you must talk about the relief valve. What is the function of relief valve? So relief valve is the simplest type of pressure regulating device. So the schematic of this constructions and the working is shown in this diagram. Will show the pressure from the source is passed on to this. After going pressure, it will go up, and the adjusting cap. It is very difficult for the to make the adjusting cap. So adjusting cap must be calibrated in such a way that the pressure from the source to the okay. So relief valve is what? Relief valve is simplest type of the pressure regulating valve or regulating device. So this is the schematic diagram which will represent the construction of working, right? So it is used as a backup device if the main pressure control fails. Let us suppose if the main pressure control valves are thin. It consists of a ball type valve. This is what valve. That's why it is called the ball type of a valve. It consists of a ball type valve which is held on to the valve seat by the spring in tension. So who are responsible to keep the ball at this source pressure? So the spring force is responsible for keeping it continuous there, right? So a relief valve is specified by its span of pressure. A relief valve is specified by its span of pressure between what? Cracking and the cracking and the full flow. So the pressure range and the flow range. Okay, once the valve opens, the flow rate depends on the excess pressure. Once the pressure falls below the cracking pressure, the valve sealed itself. Let us suppose if we are passing the compressed air from this, the ball will be lift up, and when the ball will lift up, so what will be the result? So that these are the pressure setting. These are the pressure setting spring or pressure setting spring. What they will do if they are having high pressure, so in that case it will compress that spring, compress that spring, so that the valve will move from here to there, so that the intake may be possible. And these are the adjusting curve. Okay, right? So this is the function all about the relief valve. Then come to the non-relieving pressure. Non-relieving pressure regulator. Okay, so see this diagram. This is a non-relieving type of the pressure regulator. What they have? There are some modification from the previous. Some modification from the previous valve. So this is the non-relieving pressure regulator. And earlier it was the relief valve. Now it is a non-relieving pressure regulator. What is their function? See, this is the same diagram. They are having the inlet. Okay, and to pass on to the outlet, they must have the poppet, and poppet is operated or governed by the pressure setting spring, and the pressure setting spring, who has set it? Right. So what I'm trying to tell, just come to see the non-relieving pressure regulator. What they will not relieve the pressure regulator. In this you'll see the inlet valve after getting the air inside this. So the poppet will work, and poppet will as the spring compress, poppet will open and the flow will be allowed to the outlet. And if it will be the tensile, up to the time what you can you can pass on this compressed air to the outlet valve. So these are the diaphragm on which the helical springs are placed on. Okay, this is what the pressure setting spring. These are the pressure setting spring. So in a non-relieving pressure regulator, the outlet pressure is sensed by a diaphragm. So who is responsible for sensing the outlet pressure? So diaphragm will pass on this, sense this outlet pressure. Okay. So if the outlet pressure is too low, let us suppose if the outlet pressure is too low, so the spring force in the diaphragm and the poppet to the move down, and thus opening the valve to the admit. Okay. So if the outlet pressure is too low, so the spring force, the diaphragm and the poppet. This one is a poppet. Okay, a diaphragm and the poppet. This is the diaphragm and this is a poppet. So diaphragm and the poppet to move down, and thus the opening of the valve to admit more air. So valve will be open and more air will goes to the inlet to the outlet. Okay, right? More air will raise the outlet pressure. If the outlet pressure is too high, let us suppose if the outlet pressure at here, outlet pressure is too high, the air pressure force the diaphragm up. So what will happen if the outlet pressure is too high? In that case, the air pressure forces the diaphragm up. They will forces the diaphragm up. What they will do? They will raise the. They will when its pressure is too high, the air pressure forces. If the outlet pressure is too high, the air pressure forces the diaphragm. और ये diaphragm कहाँ चला जाएगा? Diaphragm goes up. और when diaphragm goes up, hence the reduce the airflow. When the diaphragm goes up, means they will stop this inlet outlet opening. They will stop this inlet, close this inlet outlet opening. Hence reduce the airflow and the causing a reduction in the air pressure. Causing the reduction in the air pressure. So the air bends away from the load, the airframe. So the air bends away through the load at a steady state condition. The value will be balanced. The value will be balanced, and the force on the diaphragm, the force which is acting on the diaphragm, the force which is acting on the diaphragm outlet pressure, diaphragm from the outlet pressure with presetted force on the spring. Presetted force on the spring. So how it act, I think you are familiar enough. Okay, so just keep in the mind, if the inlet pressure is high, just keep in the mind, if the outlet pressure is too low, यहाँ से outlet pressure जब low होगा, उस केस में क्या होगा? Spring force of the diaphragm and the poppet will move down. So this whole assembly will be moved down. The spring will compress and the whole assembly will come down. इस केस में क्या होगा? When this comes down, okay, when this comes down, so in that case, the opening of the valve from inlet outlet opening will be more, and they will raise the high outlet pressure. Okay, और जब ये एक्सपांशन होगा, जब इसको क्या होगा? कंप्रेशन नहीं होगा. और कंप्रेशन कब नहीं होगा? If the outlet pressure is too high, this pressure, outlet pressure, if the outlet pressure is too high, in this case, the air pressure force the diaphragm to go up. तो compression से क्या हो जाएगा? इसमें elongation होगा, और जब elongation होगा, so the poppet will move and stop the opening between the inlet and the outlet valve. Okay, so we'll reduce the air pressure. So the air bends away from the load. Air bends away from the load. Away through the load. So the air bends away through the load. So at a steady state condition, the valve will balance the force on diaphragm from the outlet pressure with the presetted force on the spring. So it just this is our duty to make it in the equilibrium condition, in a steady state condition, where the force will make the balance with the diaphragm as well as on the spring and the poppet. So I think you people will got this. You people will got this diagram, what they are suggesting, what they are telling. And the last one is the service unit. Okay, so during the preparation of the compressed air, various processes such as the filtration, regulations, and the lubrications are carried out. Lubrication is especially carried out in the secondary stage. So lubrication may be carried out, okay, by individual component. So the individual component are separator or the filter, pressure regulator, and the lubricator. So that's what these are the three components which will act as a service unit. And those are the separator, those are the pressure regulator, and those are the lubricator. These are the lubricator. So preparatory functions can be combined into the one unit. So this is what we call it the service unit symbol. The service unit symbol is like this, and the service unit symbol and the service unit is consisting of separator, pressure regulator, and the lubricators. Okay, so these are the symbolic notations of the various processes which is involved in air preparation and the service unit. So these are the stages I told you. For the air treatment. So we will meet. And now I'm going to discontinue my lecture for today. We will meet again with the new topic. Thank you so much for your patience. Okay. Thank you so much, all of you.